DuPont Manual High School in Louisville, Kentucky. My project is about the strength of 3D printed objects. So, what is 3D printing? 3D printing is a way of taking a plastic filament, heating it up, and slowly, in a pattern, layer by layer, adding on more and more to create an actual physical product over the course of several hours. So last year it was a continuation project. So last year I did infill amount. So that means the amount of material actually inside a pattern. So for example, this block here is a rectangle and it has 20% infill. That means it's 20% overall material and 80% of it is actually just air. That's in order to make sure the process goes by faster while also saving material. So the project last year was to determine if 20%, 30%, and 10% made much of a difference overall, so that way we could save money by not using as much material but still having an overall good project. So using a hydraulic press, we would crush each block and we'd see if that actually made a difference in terms of the PSI measured by a gauge connected to the hydraulic press. Using the data we got, almost a linear relationship between the amount of infill and the PSI. So this year, we're doing something a little different. We're doing infill pattern. So we're using the same amount of infill, which is 20%, and we're doing different patterns. So we have a gyroid pattern, a grid pattern, and a cubic pattern. And what we're doing is we're going to be printing off each block in different patterns and seeing if they can crush them. So the way we're going to, what this actually has in terms of actual uses is we can take the same amount of infill, just put it in a different way, and maybe create something stronger or less strong. So like if we could use the same amount of material and theoretically the same price, that means that we create a better product for essentially less money and vice versa. So here we have a example of what we use in a computer program called Prusa. We create 5 objects and we choose how we want to print them off, in this case in gyroid pattern. What we would do is we'll take each of the cubes printed off, we'll test them from the top, we'll test them from the side with a hydraulic press, and we'll measure it with using a gauge. And we'll do this for 60 objects. These are the 60 objects we actually crushed, and this is how we crushed them. So we'd have a gauge here measuring when we could crush it, and we'll have a metal pole coming down and crushing this block. And what we'll have for data is that gyroid is actually the best total in terms of strength. Grid came next, and cubic was the worst. From the side, everything was a little bit lower, but it's kind of interesting. And even gyroid from the top could withstand a total of over 4,500 pounds based off the data we collected. Here's each individual test number versus the PSI sustained. Thank you for your time. Hope you like my project.